Hey there, my name is Pravus, and welcome to Phoenix Hope. This is a side-scrolling strategy game very much in the vein of titles like Kingdom. You guys might remember that, where you build up a castle and defend yourself against hordes of enemies at night. Very similar concept in Phoenix Hope. In fact, it's very clearly inspired by games like Kingdom, but then tries to expand upon those mechanics in sensible ways that give extra control to the player. It's an interesting idea. Now, this game was released into early access at the end of last year, and then went for a few months without any major updates. The last update it received was back in June, so I think the big complaint that people have with this game right now is that it hasn't been receiving updates as quickly as people would like, but still, from diving into it, I like where this game is going. I'm just hoping the development continues. This is developed by a small company called Honorable Pixel. I think I read that it might be a husband and wife team. I could be wrong on that, and if I am, I apologize, but nonetheless, let's jump into a new game and see how we fare in Phoenix Hope. This kingdom is ravaged by war. Countless cities of a once prosperous country have been destroyed by the ruthless armies of the ancient god. Their survivors, like sheep without a shepherd, scattered across the devastated lands, pursued by demons. For 3 days now, I've been going somewhere. Something is calling me back. Our kingdom is doomed, but something tells me there's still hope. We must confront the all-devouring terror, for we are the sons and daughters of the Phoenix. Yeah, I try to read through that as fast as I can. Anyway, all right, so here we are into the game. This is not going to be a major character we're playing through. It's just one more person we are going to be controlling as we go. But for now, we are arriving in our small little encampment. Now, I can use the WASD keys in order to move around with the camera. One little thing that you should know, if you hold down Shift, you move a lot faster, which is going to make your life a heck of a lot easier. Let's go ahead and pause the game so that we are able to start working on building out this town without worrying about our time progressing too much. So there is a tutorial up over here, and I've gone through this before. I will say the tutorial gives you maybe half of a picture of what you actually need, but it doesn't really give you everything. I missed a few very important features. I'll try to cover some of those in this particular video. Let's start by taking a look at our city. So we have our little tent right here, and we have a bunch of free settlers, 7 of which, who currently don't have any jobs. The first thing I'm going to need to do is start building out some resource gathering structures, namely a lumberjack's hut. So we're going to go ahead and place one of these right over here. I'm going to try to use every single tile of space if I can. It's actually very important that you're space efficient and do not spread your buildings around any more than you need to. Why? Take a look at this. You see this little thing right here, this little shield? This is called Hope. And basically, demons are going to be spawning through portals and attacking us every night, but they cannot spawn a portal within the Hope on both sides of the base. Every day that you feed your citizens, this Hope will continue to grow, giving you more space. Every time you defeat a particularly strong demon, it will go up. But in the meantime, we're very space restricted, so it's important to be as careful as you can. Now let's go to our tent over here. We already have a worker assigned, which is going to be great for us. So this person is going to be building a lot of our early game structures. Let's go ahead and unpause. We'll allow this builder to go over here and start constructing the lumberjack hut. Now we have a few different resources we need to manage. We have our food, which goes down at the beginning of every day. We have our wood, which we're trying to start generating more of right now. We have stone, which we'll use for a lot of construction projects, and then iron, which we will be able to get in the mines down below. We'll start by getting this lumberjack hut up and a-running, which is going to be taking a bunch of stone, then a couple more of the lumber, and then boom. All right, so now we have found a couple of axes and pickaxes near the abandoned mine nearby, and a couple of spearmen are going to be joining us over here, which is great. So let's use our shift and just kind of quickly side scroll right back over here. All right. Now, taking a look at this building, you can see that we have a couple of jobs available to us. We can assign a couple of lumberjacks, or we can assign a couple of apprentices. You can only have 2 people working here, either 2 lumberjacks, 2 apprentices, or 1 of each, or whatever it's going to be. As long as you have the tools, it is always better to go for the bigger, better, more professional job. Apprentices can work at a building and take up a job slot, but they don't require tools to work, and as a result, they produce significantly less resources. Great if you find yourself in a pinch with no tools and you need something in emergencies, but for the most part, if you got the tools, let's go ahead and assign some lumberjacks. So what this is going to do is take a couple of our free settlers who are standing around right now, and they're going to walk over here, train themselves to become lumberjacks, and then every day wander around chopping down trees and adding more lumber into our stockpile. We also want to repair this mine. That's going to cost me a whopping 50 wood, so let's go ahead and click on that. And our one builder is going to run over here and start taking care of this. Now, we could assign an extra worker, and that's not a terrible idea. You can see it does take one of our settlers and some stone and some lumber, and we'll have a second person able to run around and start repairing or building things. So we'll go ahead and assign this now, because I'm pretty confident that we are going to need it. So let's see, we have our lumberjack. The first person has been trained. Out comes number 2. There we go. So if we take a look at our tent right here, we can see a list of all the different workers in our town. So we have a regular worker, we have our lumberjacks, there's our spearmen, our swordsmen, etc. Lots of different professions that we will need to manage. I do need to get myself a couple of militiamen, but first, before I can do that, we need to build out this tent right here. So let's take a look at this mine, which actually looks like it's done now. We're going to upgrade this thing to a stronghold. Send our builder over here, go ahead and take down the tent and rebuild it. Why does that matter? Because we were stuck at a population cap of 7, and now we can build this up to 26. So more people will be able to join me at the beginning of the day, and we can actually assign more of these settlers to actually do something useful. So it's very important to get this sucker upgraded. Let's go ahead and assign a couple of people to work in the mine, since we have a couple of spares. Actually, 1 for now should be fine. Actually, no, we have enough settlers. We'll assign 2. That's fine. Go ahead and assign 2 of these guys. As long as we have the pickaxes, that's A-okay with me. Now, the stronghold will be finishing up pretty soon. I do need to assign a couple of people to be militiamen. These are some weak military units that you can use to defend against the hordes of demons that will attack me at the night. So, in preparation for that attack, let's go ahead and look at some defensive structures. I need wooden walls. Very important we get some of these set up, actually. However, I don't have enough lumber, so if we don't get some more lumber, we're going to find ourselves in a pretty nasty situation. Let's go ahead and speed up the game by simply hitting the plus icon right here, which gets us up to double speed. I think that's actually pretty much necessary in order to enjoy this game. You really want to be playing at max speed. I'm going to place this wall just on the outside of the Hope barrier right over here. Though normally you would probably place it right here, I just know that the Hope is going to be expanding every night, so I'll just preemptively build out just a little tiny bit more, and that'll be fine. Now, it may look like we have a lot of extra resources around which we can use to then build this thing up, but don't be fooled by that. It's still transferring the resources over here during construction. So you didn't actually have like 40 wood. I couldn't build 2 walls yet. We will be able to do that pretty soon, though. We've got our wall, so that's taken care of. We'll want to go ahead and set one up over on this side, exactly the same as the other. I'll just place it right here, and as we get wood, we'll naturally fill it in. Now, how do you actually defend your base? Great question. Over here, you click on this plus button. You place it right next to this wall, like so. 1 over there. And we'll place another one right over here. That's 1, and that's 2. Okay? And with your flags, you can click on these, double-click if you want to quickly get over here, and we can assign people to this wall. So, for example, I will assign a spearman and a militiaman, and over here, another spearman and a militiaman. And that's actually all the soldiers we're going to need for at least the first few days of the game. The spearmen and the militiamen have long weapons. They can actually stab people through the wall as they approach. But more than that, they just kind of stack up behind them and don't do anything. So assigning more people to become militiamen will not do me a whole lot of good. Now, you may notice the miners are down here, but it doesn't look like I've been actually getting any stone. Let's actually dive underground here and we can see what we can do. So with our miners, they're sitting around not doing anything unless you actually assign them to go ahead and start digging off to the sides. This is one thing that the tutorial really doesn't tell you need to do. And I found out kind of late that I was a few days in and I'm like, why am I getting no stone and iron? It's because I actually was supposed to assign people. That's something they could really improve in the tutorial to make sure people are aware this is a feature, because it's really easy to overlook unless you happen to scroll down underground. Regardless though, since I know it's there, we can go ahead and get people mining, get some iron going, get some stone, etc. And also, once in a while, you might even discover some cool stuff underground that's going to make a big difference for your game as time progresses. Go ahead and just get rid of a lot of this tutorial. I shouldn't need this anymore. All right, so it's nighttime. This means that demons can and will approach. Oh, I see over on the side that I had a little pink aura letting me know that there is a portal over here somewhere. There's a couple demons spawning. It seems like they're really far away. Don't get complacent. They do not spawn on the edge of the map. This is a bad example, even though I see 2 portals over here. They can spawn right, oh, there we go, right next to you. This is a great example. So yeah, this is why you don't really want to be building things outside of the Hope bubble if you can avoid it. You can, but it's very risky to do so. Now these guys are attacking, wow, they spawn right next to me here, holy crud. They do attack these walls, and your workers will automatically come over here and start to repair them. Unfortunately, it does take lumber to do this. So you'll find that you're actually draining through a lot of your lumber at night, simply repairing all of the walls, which can get very irritating. One thing you can do that might help you a little bit is to go under fortifications and place down things like some spikes. Does take a little bit of wood, but also causes a bit of extra damage to some of these guys before they even reach the wall. So you might find that you get a few less hits on the wooden wall, and therefore it pays for itself over time. Maybe. I haven't really done any math to find out if that's the case, but it could very well be true. Anyway, now they're attacking us pretty hard from over here. I could technically go over to this flag and unassign a militiaman and sign them over here instead, but again, I already know that stacking up more people over here is not going to translate into more DPS at the wall, so really, why bother? In the meantime, though, look at that. The lumber is all going away. Ugh, not a fan of that. Anyway, all right. So not much we can do right now until we just survive through the night. The moon is going to go away, the sun is rising, and any demons that were out on the map are now gone. So we have survived the first night. Huzzah! All right. There is something I need next. That's going to be a smithy. If I can place down a smithy, that would be great. I can perfectly fit it right here between my stronghold and the mine. So that's going to be a good candidate right here. Again, we don't have enough lumber for this yet, but we will get more lumber as time goes on. The reason I need a smithy is because I need to start getting some additional tools. Especially would love to see a scythe. Getting some scythes, if we can get up enough iron first, would allow me to place down a farm and have someone get me some extra food over the course of every day. And extra food is great. As long as you have enough food to feed all your people, your hope bubble will continue to grow. In fact, you can already see it's grown by 1 tile so far. So that's great. Let's go down over here. We can see that the miners are gradually making progress over here. It's still going to be a little bit, but that's completely fine. One complaint that I think some people have for this game is it does take a pretty long time to do anything, honestly. It takes a while to get enough resources to feel like you're doing much. You know, it takes a while to actually make any progress down over here. The build order is kind of specific, honestly. If you build the wrong stuff and you don't have enough resources to go around, you're going to find yourself struggling to keep up for a while. But nonetheless, I think that as this game continues to get fine-tuned, as long as the development continues, I think this can improve quite a bit. You'll notice, by the way, we have an extra free settler. Someone came to join us over the course of the morning. You'll have new people who could show up every single day as long as you have the housing capacity for them. If you're looking for more housing, that is an option. You just build out some houses over here. But again, I'm not going to be building anything if I don't need it right now because, well, that's a great way to waste a lot of resources at a time when I don't need it. Also, I don't have a lot of space. Hey, look at this. We found something in the mines, a map. We can now send scouts to look for survivors. Well, that's exciting. Let's go ahead and tell people to continue mining downwards, and then how about over that direction? I'm still looking for more iron. I'm looking for more veins of, minerals or rocks or whatever the heck else I can get. I don't really care. Actually, can we possibly go this way? Are these rocks we can mine? I don't think so, but maybe. Anyway, let's go over here and now place down a scout's hideout. Now, where can I safely fit this? Great question. Let me first make sure I'm being efficient with my space. If we want, we can place a farm right here, which is perfect. So I'm going to save that area. Let's build a scout's hideout right over here. And that still leaves me enough room to build something large over here if I want it. Now, scouts are going to be able to explore the map. Let's take a look over here. There's a new button. Click on this. Boom. Wow, what is this? It's a whole map that you can explore. This actually reminds me a little bit of something like Surviving the Aftermath, where you're going to send your scouts out from your primary area and try looking for various different things, interest points on the map, which can give you an advantage. For example, a scientist's lab, right? So people will be able to maybe build up a science workshop, and we can start researching technologies that make everything more effective. That could be great. We also have shelters where 5 people might be able to join us, or a merchant who would be willing to offer us a whole freaking ton of stone. However, in order to do some scouting, you're going to need to get a lot of food, so that's going to be important for you. By the way, before we even get a scout, let's assign someone here to be a blacksmith, because now I actually have enough iron I can make a scythe, so I need someone to go ahead and start crafting that right now. We're going to find ourselves in a situation where I don't have enough settlers for the first couple of days to do everything I want to do, but I know that getting food is a priority, because in order to send people on these scouting missions, we need food. Not to mention we need people assigned over here. So more bodies, more food, and that'll be all we need. One scythe honestly should be able to give us enough food to keep us going for a good long while. By the way, yes, it looks like they are mining these deposits out. Well, that's excellent. Okay, so that just got me a whole load of extra iron early on. Beautiful. I don't think I had seen that before, but I'm glad to know it exists. Night comes once again. The lumberjacks are going to quickly run back to some nice safe areas. We have our first round of portals about to spawn over here. But again, as long as we have enough wood to keep this stuff maintained, I don't feel that worried about it. Could have set down some spikes. Actually meant to do that. Totally forgot, but oh well. That's fine. We'll just use some of our lumber, keep these walls up and running, and tomorrow the hope will continue to build out a little bit more. And our blacksmith is almost done building our first scythe, which is great. So let's go ahead and look at placing down a small farm right over here. Now, I don't necessarily love the idea of having my workers working on this overnight when they could go work on something a bit more useful, like repairing the walls, but I think we'll be okay tonight. Should not be an issue. If I find myself in a situation where a wall looks like it's going to fall down, remember we do have one extra swordsman from the very start of the game who could go and join in the fray somewhere if necessary. So that's going to be an option for me. I personally prefer to keep the swordsmen kind of close to the bonfire, and then if it looks like there's a breach, I have the freedom to quickly run them to one side or the other, rather than have them stuck over here, unable to do anything. Then it turns out there's a breach over here, we got to run the long way, you know what I mean? So a mobile force that's willing to respond to emergencies, and then the rest just kind of plant themselves and hang out for a little bit. At some point, if we want to spend the wood, we could start getting some additional bows up and running. Looks like I actually already have one, which is very nice. Archers, of course, can do a lot of damage to enemies at a good long distance, and we can set up some wooden towers as a fortification. If I were to wait, for example, a couple more nights so I could place a wall right here plus a wooden tower, then that would be a pretty darn good early game defense. Let's go ahead and assign one of our newcomers to go and work on the farm, and I think we're going to find we start making a lot of food by doing that. And let's go ahead and assign someone to also be a scout so that I can start exploring the world. That does leave me with one extra person. I'm not totally sure what I want to do with them. Could assign them to be an apprentice. Then they're kind of committed to being an apprentice role, but I mean, at least it's a free floater who can go around and do something, am I right? Yeah, let's go ahead and assign this person to be an apprentice. Maybe we pull them off that role at some point in the future and we can have them go do something else. All right, we discovered a couple more areas and we are mining out some additional deposits. Let's continue mining off in whatever direction. I don't really care. It's kind of random what you're going to find down here. I don't think that it's a guaranteed, like, generation. It's random. So sometimes you find deposits, sometimes you find really cool points of interest. I think the only thing you're guaranteed to find is the map early on so that you can get yourself a scout. Speaking of scouts, I can see we have one free scout ready to go. Let's take a look at this and move over to the scientist's lab. I will assign the scout that I've got, and I will assign 15 food, and off you go. It's going to take a couple of days. This is one of the reasons the faster you can get the scouts up and running, the sooner you can take advantage of it. Now, how are we looking on food? Great question. Oh, it looks like we're making plenty of food. So with one dedicated farmer and a scythe and an apprentice, we're making 52 food per day with a net positive of 38. So we're definitely fine on a food perspective, which means we are going to be able to do a lot of scouting missions. That's great. You can see here, by the way, by placing down some of these spikes, these little guys are barely able to touch my wall before we are able to get them killed. So that at least is going to save me a teeny little bit of extra repairs. Could go for some upgrades, but if I plan on moving this wall anyway, like, why bother, you know? That's one little problem I've got with some of these little walls. As the hope expands, like, yeah, you get more room to work with, but at the same time, I gotta keep tearing this dang stuff out, so I feel kind of bad, like, investing in very many static defenses. Not sure if that's really intentional for the game, but, oh well, there you go. That is a lot of enemies. Gosh, I really hope the sun comes up pretty soon, because this is looking pretty nasty. Holy crud! Oh, what is this little thing I found over here? I actually have no idea what this is. We can apparently mine it. Hopefully this isn't like some sort of horrible occult thing that's gonna spawn a bunch of demons? I don't know. I give it a 50-50 chance at this point. Well, I mined that thing out, and nothing seems to have happened. Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay. Pieces of prophecy collected. Interesting. Alright, so apparently that was 1 out of 20, so we've got to find a bunch of those things, those purple tablets on the underground. That means this area's got to be at least kind of massive, doesn't it? Oh boy, that's going to take, well, forever. If we can get all of it, apparently our souls collection rate goes up. Now, no, this is not Dark Souls. What that means, I think, is we will be able to boost up our science at some point. We can go ahead and place down one of these collector's labs since I have some extra settlers around. And this is going to let us start collecting the souls of fallen demons. Whatever that means. Apparently it's useful for research. I probably should have set this up like a day or two ago, and I've wasted some time as a result, but it's probably fine too. So what's a soul collector? There's apparently 535 souls floating around in the air right now. Okay. Well then, we'll assign a couple of extra folks to go and become soul collectors. So what's your job? Well, I collect souls. Oh, that's pretty metal. Yep. You can actually see the little orbs as they pop up over here, so I'm guessing that's exactly what that is. Good to know that the souls just kind of stick around. I was worried that we have a lot of wasted opportunity, and maybe we do. Maybe it takes forever to collect these things, I don't know, but okay. No, that's not so bad. That's not so bad. We'll collect the souls, and then once our scout gets back, which should happen tomorrow, or today, or however you define the day, we'll be able to build out some sort of a science structure. Ah, there we go. We are now collecting souls. This is science, ladies and gentlemen. The encounter is complete. Excellent. All right, so our scout is back. Interesting. It looks like by choosing one or maybe waiting long enough, some of the different options have changed. We could go try to grab ourselves a couple of extra scythes. That's worth a fair bit. Loads of souls. What is this? Loads of food, or possibly get a whole bunch of things. My God. Well, that seems pretty darn good. It's gonna take, tools, resources. I don't even know what this thing is. What is this? Is it armor? Might be armor of some sort. Hang on. Also, we need to send a whole bunch of people. Yeah, I can't do anything about that at the moment. Okay. Well, in that case, I don't want to send my spearmen because we haven't trained any new ones, so I guess we just have to do this and gather up a couple of free pickaxes, which saves me some resources. Like, it's all right. But we should always keep our scout doing something, I feel like. Probably. Maybe? Anyway. Let's go over here and look if we can build out a scientist's lab. The answer is yes, but it does take up a lot more of the space. Dang it. I was kind of hoping we would have a very small structure so I'd have enough space to build, like, let's say some sort of a training camp. You know? Get some archery up and running, right? Train some new people. That could be kind of cool. Or a barracks. But unfortunately, no, we don't have that option as of yet. Dang it, we gotta survive a little bit longer with the few weapons we've already got. Aha! Scientist lab is done. Okay, we're gonna assign our couple of extra folks to be scientists. I don't think it actually, it does cost me a few resources, never mind. Cost me a fair bit to get these guys up and running, but that's okay. That's okay, I'm willing to do this. So, I have no idea how science works. This goes already a little bit beyond my test game, but we are definitely ahead of time. Last time I was on like day 7 and I hadn't even gotten close to this far, so that's partly because I didn't even know about all this stuff down here. Again, like a slightly improved tutorial, just making sure you're actually aware of all the features would go a pretty long way. Also, an auto repair button for the spikes would be pretty nice, because it feels like I have to go over here and manually micromanage rebuilding these things every day, which gets a little bit annoying. So I'd love to see that get up there a little bit more. All right, so the science. Once we have actually some people assigned here, we can probably start looking at doing some science. There's one. I assume it's this little button right down here. Hello! Okay, science. What do we got over here? Well, stronghold. It would cost some souls, but we can start upgrading things like the stronghold, or some walls or towers or houses, farms, lumberjack hut. More people can be assigned to work the same place. Okay. Tool making speed, training speed, construction speed, population limit per house, I have none so far. Extra miners I could see being really useful. More peasants every morning could be very good. Auto repair, oh, well, never mind, there it is. That's the thing I was looking for. And boost up the extra attack and HP and research speed of a bunch of different things. Do I dare just go ahead and work on this right away? Probably not. I feel like there are other things I could do that are probably more useful. Let's see if we can get ourselves some extra miners, because there's a lot of stuff deep down underground that apparently it's going to take a long time to mine through, and having an extra worker can make a big difference. Whoa, we got some sort of a big demon over here. All right, that's a little concerning. I've got some spikes in place, but he seems to be running right through them. Whoa, okay, he's doing a fair bit of damage here, but we're repairing about as fast as he can hurt me, so that's not a big deal. Discovered a destroyer. Exciting, okay. You can go to a journal, by the way, and this will tell you a bunch of different things about the game, including like different types of enemies and stuff, their threat levels, and blah, blah, blah. You kind of get how this works. Okay, 3 destroyers coming up to my wall could be a bit of a problem. More than a little bit of a my God, okay. Sun! I need the sun! Thank you! Woo! okay. Yay. Fun. We survived. We really need to get some better defenses going, like, now. Tell you what. We're gonna go ahead and demolish a bunch of these walls and stuff, and all this spikes and stuff, since we'd have to rebuild all this anyway, and maybe we can fit some sort of a little training camp. How fast does science progress? Not bad. We should be able to get through like 1 or 2 researches per day at this current rate. Not sure if it stays that way, but that's not so bad. All right, anyway, so yeah, knock all this stuff down. It's taken care of. Perfect, thank you. And then we're going to go over here, and do we want to train up archers, or do we want to train up extra spearmen? Great question. It says we have no free settlers, but I think some extras are supposed to be coming after us today. Or not? Someone had a little pop-up saying, looks like we're getting more people than you. There we go. 2 more, okay. Well, it's a thing. An extra set of spearmen could be nice, but you know, I have also been building up some bows, at least a couple of them, so maybe we just go ahead and try to get an archery range. Yeah, sure. It's a more expensive investment, but I'm willing to give it a go. Let's try to set up some archers. All right. We should be able to hire... Oh, wait a minute. This takes armor as well? I have 1 leather armor. All right. Okay. Getting specialized forces may not be as effective as I was kind of hoping for. Well, we'll have to set ourselves up our little wall over there and then replace a whole bunch of spikes and see if this does me literally any good at all. So, if I can't do anything here... Do I refund any resources when I tear down the archery? Because, like, could I maybe use this as a temporary spot? Like, I build, let's say, I build myself an armorer of some sort. Yeah, there we go. Armorer workshop. Get myself a couple of leather armor, then tear that down, replace it with an archery range, train up a couple of archers, then tear this down. Is that a thing? Do I get my resources back at all? I kind of doubt it, because I feel like that could be a little bit too easy, but in a very space-dependent game, that's kind of a necessity, I think. Hey, look, we're building out our first tower. Excellent. All right, construction is now complete. Love what I'm seeing there. Let's go ahead and assign... Oh, nope, maybe not. Wait, I can assign an archer here if there is a free archer sitting around. Well, that should be fine. There we go. Archer hops up. Yay! All right, we've got an archer now. It seems like I do get at least some of the resources back. Is it just me? I mean, it's nighttime, so I wasn't expecting to be getting pretty much any lumber at all, but here they go. All right, archer! Pew, 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 pew! Hey, we're actually killing some things before they arrive. Oh, it shoots a pretty long ways. All right, that's helpful. Looks like it always shoots for the nearest target, though, which means that some shots can get wasted, which is a little irritating, but okay. I do believe there are flying enemies in the game. So archers are going to be very important, at least to that level. Uh-oh. Looks like they were able to rebuild, destroy the wall with the destroyers. Okay, that got a little close and dangerous, but okay. Yeah, we need to rebuild that, like, now, please. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I mean, this isn't exactly the best defended area ever, but, yeah, I think part of the problem is I accidentally placed my flag 1 little space too far back, so only 1 person was stabbing through. And that's kind of unfortunate. Let's assign an artisan. There we go. And what does it take to make leather armor? A bit of kind of everything, actually. That's shockingly expensive for leather compared to plate armor, but all right. Another encounter complete with my scouts. Lost notes, a free technology. That could be huge. Oh, also everything you would need for an extra archer. That's not bad. Or science tech. Some of these things are closer than others, though. I don't have any houses, so you know what? Let's go ahead and assign the person to go and get me the resources I need for another archer. The one thing I seem to be doing A-okay on, honestly, is, like, food. Food has so far not been much of an issue at all. I am going to try to make... I can't make another axe. Okay. Well, we have at least an archer on both sides. I do need to reinforce these spikes as much as I can, but we need a lot more lumber to make that work. And we should have an extra pickaxe available, which means we can assign another miner. So we want to do that. Ah, dang it, I need more lumber again! Ah! All right, well, all the more reason it's really important to get the technology where you get yourself an extra lumberjack, plus get yourself an axe and stuff. Get this going as much as you can, dang it. Now, unfortunately, there's only so many trees on the map, and it takes a while to get away. They do start growing some new ones around the base, but yeah, the further they have to walk away, the slower your lumber is going to be regenerating. One thing that would be really helpful at some point might be to have something like a technology where you can just straight out boost the movement speed of lumberjacks, or maybe increase how much lumber they can produce per day, or something along those lines. I don't know. All of that would be kind of nice, I think. Anyway, do I have enough stuff for any additional archers? I don't think so, which means we go ahead and tear this thing down again. And there we go. We have survived all the way to day 10. Okay. Well, I think this is a good place for us to end this video. I've kind of shown off a lot of what this game is capable of. It takes a very long time, unfortunately, for the hope to kind of build out enough that you can continue building as fast as you want to. And that's probably one thing that I think is going to frustrate some players. I don't think it's necessarily unreasonable. I mean, it's expanding at a pace that's fast enough for me to mostly do what I need to do. I just can't, let's say, train a bunch of spearmen and other stuff at the same time, which is fine. I do think that it could at some point get a little overwhelming digging down over here, but I mean, there's probably a lot of awesome, trinkets to uncover. A lot of fun things to do, so I think this game honestly is looking in a pretty solid state right now. Could it use some improvement? Absolutely. Could the tutorial be a little bit better to make sure people learn the game? Absolutely. Could it pick up the pace just a smidge more and add like one extra dial up for the speed? Sure, maybe so. But for the most part, I think it's a fairly challenging game with at least a interesting idea, and the music and the art is pretty on point. I think this game is going places. I just hope it continues to get the love that it's going to need. Thank you all very much for watching. I do hope that you enjoyed this video. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.